So good morning all. Today we are going to see sparse matrix. Sparse matrices are those matrices which have the majority of their elements equal to 0. Okay. For example, 0 0 1 2, 1 0 0 3, 1 0 0 0. See, so there in first row there are two zeros. There are only two non-zero elements 1 2. In the second row, there are again two zeros and there are non-zero elements 1, 3. In the third row, there are three zeros and there are only one non-zero element 1. So, in totality, how many non-zero elements are there in the first example? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 non-zero elements and 7 zero elements, right? For example, 2. See, there are 0 elements and the dash indicate there are non-zero elements. So the sparse matrices are those matrices which have the majority of their elements equal to 0. So the matrices in which the non-zero elements are more, those matrices will be called as sparse matrices. So why do we go for using sparse matrices as such? There are two reasons, like it has been mentioned on the board. First is storage and second is computing time. So because of these two reasons, we use sparse matrices. When we say storage, there are lesser non-zero elements. As we said that there has to be more zero elements. So since there are lesser non-zero elements, okay, there are lesser non-zero elements than 0. So less memory can be used to store elements. So less memory has been utilized. So for storage purpose, this is the first reason why we go for sparse matrices. Second reason is computing time. Computing time can be saved by logically designing a data structure traversing only non-zero elements. Okay. So since there are less non-zero elements, and let us say we are traversing like breadth first search or depth first search, then we have to just traverse to non-zero elements. So here in this case, the time utilized to traverse zero elements is been saved. That's why the computing time is also get reduced. So that is why computing time it's preferred more. So these are the two main reasons why we go, or why the sparse matrices are used more often. Now we'll see the representation of sparse matrix. Sparse matrix representation can be done using arrays or using linked list. So there are possibly two ways through which we can represent the sparse matrix. First is with the array, second is with linked list. The array representation is done using the array representation of sparse matrix is done using 2D arrays when it comes to array representation. So when we are using two-dimensional arrays to represent a sparse matrix, in this triplet, the first value indicates row, the second value indicates column, and the third value indicates value. Okay, so the first, when I say row, it means it's an index of row. When I say column, second value is column, it's index of that particular column. And the third is actual value, So in the triplet form, using two-dimensional array, we can represent the sparse matrix. Okay. Now let us understand this concept using an example. So let us take first example. Okay. So here you can see there are how many rows? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 rows, and there are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns. So this is a 4 by 5 matrix. Okay. Now how to represent this into sparse matrix? Because we can see there are many zero elements and there are some non-zero elements. So it could be represented in sparse matrix using two-dimensional arrays. So we have just seen that when we are representing it using two-dimensional array, it is a triplet, right? It is a triplet. So the first will hold the row index, second will hold the column index, and the third will hold the exact value. So let us represent this in terms of triplet. Okay, when I say index, index means this 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So these are the column index. And what is this? This is the row index, which 0, 1, 2, 3. So this is the row index. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is a column index, right? So we have to consider this index only for what? For what? For only non-zero elements. So we don't have to bother about the zero elements. We have to just focus on non-zero elements, right? Okay, so let us start. So in the first row, that is the zeroth row, where is my first non-zero element located? Yes, which is that element? 4, correct? So 4 is located in which row? What is the index of that row? 0, correct? So we will be writing 0. Okay, we will be writing 0. In which column it is present? See, when I say column, it is actually third column. But we are supposed to write what? Index of that column. So what is the index of that column? Yes, the index of column is 2. And the value of non-zero element is 4. Okay. So which is now the next non-zero element? Is it available in the 0th row? Just check. After 4, what is there non-zero element? Yes, it is 5. So what is the row index of 5? Yes, it is 0. So next triple value will be for next non-zero element, which is there in 0th index. And what is the column index for that 5? It is 4. Correct. And what is the value? Yes, we just said it is 5. Like this. Now, is there any element left in 0th row? No. So we should proceed for next row. So in next row, that is with index 1, what is the non-zero element? First non-zero element? 3. Where it lies in the row? It lies in the first index. What is the column index of 3? It is 3. And actual value is 3. Like this. Now, is any element, non-zero element available in the first row? Yes, another is 6. Okay, 6 lies on first row, 4th column. I mean index, okay. 4th index column. The value is 6. Okay. Next, we will proceed for now another row. So, does my second row, that means the row with second index, consist of any non-zero elements? Yes, there is one, which is 2. So the value is 2. And where it lies? It lies in the second index of row and third index of column, like this. Okay. Now since there are no elements present on that row, we will move further. So for next row, that is the third row with the third index, there are 2 non-zero elements. First is 2 and next is 3, right? So second lies on the first index row, sorry, third index row. Yes, and first index column. 3 lies on third. Third index row, second index column, like this. And any elements left? So just by counting the columns here, we come to know that how many non-zero elements are there. Let us check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there are 7 non-zero elements. Just check it in the matrix. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes. So the two-dimensional array is of 3 rows, you can say, and 7 columns, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's a 3 by 7 matrices. 3 by 7 matrices. This is how we implement. And if we say there are actually 8 columns, including this row column value. So this is a 3 by 8 matrix. 3 by 8 matrix. So this is how we convert normal matrix, sparse matrix to 2D array representation with the help of triplet. Let us take another example. So this is the matrix with 0, 1, 2, 3 rows and 0, 1, 2, 3. So 4 columns. Now we will convert this to again a 2D array. Okay. So how? You know that we are using always the triplet, right? So the first value will be of row index and the second will be of, first will hold row, second will hold column, and the third will obviously the value. Okay, so these are the triplets. So let us start with the first element. So in our first row, is there any non-zero element? Yes, there is a non-zero element 1. So the value is actually 1. Where it lies in the row index? 0, and the column index 3, right? Yes. Okay, so this will be 3. Well, let us see how many values are there. So it should give us 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We can see that there are 4 non-zero elements. So we should have 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. So it will become the row column value 3 rows and 5 columns. Okay, 4 values, and this will be the row column and value by default, right? So this is the first element in the first row. In the second row there are 2 elements. So first is 1, so the value is 1, and where it lies in, when we say lies, we are referring the index value. So it lies in the first second row actually, with first 1 index. The column index is 0, like this. Yes, and the 5 lies in row 1 and column 3. Okay, and this 6 lies in second row and second column. So this is how we represent the sparse matrix using 2D array. So we have seen second example also. So we have to just focus on non-zero elements. Okay, remember that we have to focus on non-zero elements. Using 2-dimensional array, we can use the triplet format. First indicates row, second index column, second represents the column index, first represents this row index, and the third is actual value. So this is how we represent the sparse. Another method which is most popular to represent the same thing is in this particular fashion. We have just seen that we have horizontally written the row column value. It could be written vertically also. So when we are jotting down it vertically, the first will indicate row index, second will indicate column index, and the third will indicate value. Okay, the same thing we can represent like this, in which but the first row will hold actual rows, actual columns, and the number of non-zero elements and the number of non-zero elements. Okay, so how many non-zero elements were there in this particular matrix? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So, and how many total number of rows were there? Total number of rows in the given example are 3 rows, okay, 4 columns, and there are 4 non-zero elements. So the first row indicates number of rows, number of columns, and number of non-zero elements. Okay, then like we did here, we have represented it vertically. Here in this format we are going to represent it horizontally. So our first non-zero element is 1, right? So value is 1. In which row index? 0th row index and 3rd column index, right? The same way we did here, but we have represented it vertically. Here we are representing it horizontally. The second non-zero value was 1. So value is 1 here. On which row index? 0, and which column index? 0. So again we have represented that 1 horizontally like this. So 0th row index, 0th column index, and the value is 1. Another non-zero element was 5. On row 1 column 3. So same here we have represented horizontally. Fifth value on 0th row index and third column index. The next last value is 6, which is on 2 2, that is row index is 2 and column index is 2. Same we have represented written here. So this matrix becomes as 5 by 3 matrix, as it holds 5 rows and 3 columns. Okay, so this is how we this is the popular way in which we represent the sparse matrix using two-dimensional array in the triplet form. Now we will see how to calculate the transpose of the matrix. So let this example be the same, and let us call this as A matrix. Let us give a name to this matrix. Let us indicate this by A. Let us indicate this by A, and now we are going to calculate the transpose of A. Transpose of A. So now we will quickly look at how to calculate the transpose, and the transpose is represented by, the matrix name is A, so it will be represented as A of T. Okay. Now let us find the transpose of the given matrix, which we have named as A, right? Which we have named as A. So there are 3 steps when we are supposed to find the transpose, and we will denote this transpose as A of T. So this is our compact matrix denoted by A, and we are going to find the transpose of this A written as A superscript T. So this is the transpose. But how to find this transpose? There are 3 steps. First, we need to create a total array. We need to create a total array. This is the step 1. Okay, this is step 1. We need to first calculate the total array. Based on total array, we need to find out the index array. Index array, this is step 2. This is step 2. We need to find out the index array, and with the help of index array, we are going to tabulate the values in a transport matrix. We are going to tabulate the values in a transport matrix. This one. Okay. So let us first go with the step 1, that is to calculate the total array. So total array, the formula of calculating the total array is, total array size is what? Total number of columns. Total array is equal to total number of columns. This is a one-dimensional array, this total array, and even the index array is one-dimensional array. So first we need to calculate the total array, which is a one-dimensional array and which is equal to total number of columns. So how many columns are there in our examples? How many columns are there in our compact matrix? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we will be having 4 rows in our total array. One dimensional array, that means 1 column equal to, and how many rows? Total number of columns. So we have 4 columns, so we will be having 4 rows. So 0, 1, 2, 3. So in total there are 4 rows. Okay, the formula is total array equal to total number of columns. Total array equal to total number of columns. One dimensional array. Okay. Yes. Now what are the values? How the values are written inside this one dimensional array? See, in 0th row, how many non-zero elements are there? 1. So we need to write 1 here. Okay. And in the first row, how many? These are total number of columns. So in the first column, how many non-zero elements are there? 1. So we have to write 1 here. Okay. In the second column with index 1, how many non-zero elements are there? Nothing. So there are 0 non-elements. 0 non-zero elements. All are zeros. So we have to write 0. In the second column, how many non-zero elements are there? 1. You don't have to write the value. You have to just count how many non-zero values are there in this second column. There is 1. 6 is there. So 1 element is there. So you need to write 1 here. Okay. In the third column, how many non-zero elements are there? 2. So we need to write 2 here. This is how we have calculated the total array. We have calculated the total array. Now let us go to step 2. Now we have to calculate index array. We have to calculate index array. That is also a one-dimensional array. With the number of columns as number of rows. Number of columns as number of rows. Since we have four columns, we will be having 4 rows for index array as well. Okay. There are some rules. How to jot this one dimensional index array. Okay. Always index of 0 will be 1. Always, starting with the first rule. First rule says that index of 0, that is the 0th index, will always hold 1. So we have to initialize the 0th index of index array with 1. Okay. Then the next values are calculated like this. Index of 1. So we should say index of I. So the formula is index of I is equal to index of I minus 1 plus the index of total array I minus 1. So index of I equal to index of I minus 1 plus T of I minus 1, that is the total arrays I minus 1 value is been added to index of I minus 1. This is how we are going to get the values inside our index array. So initially the 0th location is initially assigned as 1. Let us calculate this next value, that is index of 1 now. Index of 0 is 1 by rule. Now we will apply the formula for index of 1 value. So index of 1 will be index of I minus 1. So I is now 1. So 1 minus 1 is 0. So what is there in index of 0? 1. 1 plus total arrays T. Let us indicate this total array by T. Okay, total array by T. So T of I minus 1, that is 1 minus 1, 0. So what is T of 0? It is 1. So 1 plus 1. 1 index of 0 is 1 plus total of 0, T of 0 is 1. So 1 plus 1 is 2. So we get 2 as the index of 1 value. Okay. Let us calculate index of 2. So index of 2 will be index of I minus 1, that is index of 1 plus total T of I minus 1, that is T of 1. So index of I minus 1, that is index of 1 is 2 and T of 1 is 0. So 2 plus 0 we get 2. So index of 2 is 2. Let us calculate index of 3 now. So index of 3 will be index of 2 plus T of 2. So index of 3 is index of 2 plus T of 2. So index of 2 is 2 and T of 2 is 1. So 2 plus 1 we get 3. So index of 3 is 2 plus 1, that is 3. Now calculate index of 4. Index of 4 according to formula is index of I minus 1, that is index of 4 minus 1, that is 3 plus T of I minus 1, that is T of 3. So index of 4 is equal to index of 3 plus total of 3. So index of 3 is 3 and total of 3 is 2. So 3 plus 2 is 5. So we get index of 4 as 5. So this is how we have calculated the values of index array. Now we can just ignore the total array, because total array we were depending on total array to calculate the index values. Since we have got our index values, now we can ignore total array, because we will be just referring to this index array for calculating our transpose. So this is how we have completed step 2. Now coming to the step 3. Now step 3, in step 3 we have to do like this. We have first converted our compact matrix to the 2-dimensional arrays like this. 2-dimensional array, okay, in which the first row indicate that there are 3 rows, 4 columns and there are 4 non-zero elements. Okay. So this has to be shifted in the first row, but there will be a slight change. Now here, how many rows were there? 3. But in the transport, this rows will become column. So we have to write this this value 3 in the column. Okay, so in the transpose, row becomes column and column becomes row. So we have to write this 3 in the column and we have to write this 4 in the row. So it will be what? It is 3 4 now. It will be written as 4 3 here in the transpose. And the number of non-zero values are 4. That won't change. So 4 as it is in the last in this particular cell. That is holding the value, right? Okay. So let us come with the second row. The second row value are 0 3 1, right? 0 3 1. When we are calculating the transpose, now this has to be interchanged. So the row becomes column and the column becomes row. So this will become 3 0 1. So when it becomes 3 0 1, we have to check this 3 index value in the index array. Okay. So for the index 3, the value is what? 3. So this 3 0 1 has to be written in the third row because the third index value is 3. So we have to write this 3 0 1 in the third row. When I say third row, it is specified with the index value. So we have to write this 3 0 1 in the third index row wise. So 3 0 1 is written here. 3 0 1 is written here like this. 3 0 1 has been written in the third index. Okay. The moment we write 3 0 1 in third index, this value of third index has to be updated. So now it will become incremented by 1. So it will become 4. It will become 4 like this. Okay. So now let us go with another row. Next row, that is 0 0 1. So 0 0 1, how it will be written? Yes, you have to interchange row and column. So 0 0 1 will be written as, even if we interchange, it will be 0 0 1 only. So the row index is 0. Let us check what is the value of 0th index in the index array. So 0th index holds 1. 0th index holds 1. So this 0 0 1 has to be written in the first index. So we have to write 0 0 1 in first index. The moment we write 0 0 1 in first index, the index value has to be incremented by 1. So it will be incremented by 1 and the new value will be 2. The new value will be 2. Next we will proceed with the next row, that is 1 3 5. 1 3 5 we have to shift it to the transpose. When we are shifting this to transpose, row will become column and column will become row. So it will become 3 1 5. So the index value is 3. What is the index value of 3 in the index array? Earlier it was 3, we have updated it to 4. So this 315 has to be written in the fourth index. So 315 is written here, and again the value of third index will be incremented by 1. So earlier it was 4, now it will become 5. Next, proceed to next row. So it is 2 to 6 now. So 2 to 6. When we interchange it, it will become again 2 to 6. So no change as it is. So the row index is 2. So let us check the value of 2 in the index array. So 2 to 6 has to be written in the second index. So second index value for 2 is 2. So we have to write 2 to 6 here and we have to update this value to 3. And like this we have finished with all rows. So the transpose of A is like this. We can even cross check this. In the rough you can just convert this compact matrix for your cross checking purpose like this. So 0 1 0 has to be written like this horizontally, and then 0 0 0 horizontally, 0 0 6 like this, and 1 5 0 like this. So this is how you have to cross check it. See now the first value in the transpose, check the first non-zero value 1, so it is 1. Next value is 6, it is 6. Next value is 1, it is 1, and next value is 5. So this is how we cross check. We can cross check it faster. to see whether we have done it correctly or not, and this is how we calculate the transpose of the matrix.